But ahead of next year's contest, several national broadcasters are threatening to pull out over Israel's inclusion. So Spanish broadcaster RTVE has voted to boycott the event if Israel isn't banned from it. Iceland, Slovenia, Ireland and the Netherlands have also issued similar warnings, while Belgium, France and Sweden are also considering it. So they don't want Israel to be part of next year's competition. Now, the BBC says it hasn't decided what to do yet, but continues to be a part of discussions around the event. So what do you think that they should do? Cherry, I know you're a fan of Eurovision.
Big fan, love it. Best night of the year.
You must have a terrible life.
Oh my God, I have a chart. And we do marks and we do for costume and like lighting and everything. And now I've like infiltrated my kids. My kids love it now. You'd love it.
This is very sad.
You would love it. We have wine and pizza and lols.
Wine, pizza and lols.
And people put bets on something. I think it's a shame it's become political. However, maybe it was always political. I know that the Germany's cultural minister said Eurovision was founded to bring nations together through music, but isn't that the point? So the fact that we're getting rid of people because we don't like what they're doing. Look, I'm not saying that I think awful things haven't happened, but I'm saying that the whole point of it was to bring people together in a neutral space. It's really difficult. It's really difficult.
I see what you mean, but for example, in other situations, in sport, for example, Russian athletes were excluded because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So we do have precedent on when it comes to non-political things of banning countries from attending.
Sorry.
So is this different,
Russia's
Carole?
invasion of Ukraine is entirely different. That was an unprovoked invasion of a country that had done nothing. Israel's response in Gaza was the result of the October the 7th massacre, where 1,200 Israelis were killed. Some slaughtered in the most horrific of ways, and what happened after that was Israel's response to that. So these are two entirely different things. But what I think is pretty disgusting, like this year the contestant was a lady called Guval Raphael. This girl competed. Now, she was massive protests outside the hall. Somebody actually tried to get onto the stage when she was on it. This is a girl who was part of the October the 7th massacre. She was
at a music festival.
She had survived she hid under piles of dead bodies. So, no, let me finish this, because this is important, so as not to be slaughtered. This girl, how is it her fault? Why were the people demonstrating against her? They terrified the life out of her. She'd already been through one piece of hell, and there she was going through another. Politics shouldn't be in it in this way, and yet it is now. It's supposed to be a celebration of culture and music, and it's become an ugly political event, and it shouldn't be. And apart from anything else, I think it's now corny, and I mean, you love it, and I mean, I still love it like 15 years ago, but I don't love it anymore. And what I hate about our countries, I mean, I've gone off the serious point now, I'm going to the fun part of it, that our country's entries are so shockingly bad.
Last year was amazing. Those girls
they were
flew the flag. They were incredible.
Just remind me, how many points did they get?
Don't care. That was
Nil.
Brilliant.
Right, OK.
But doesn't that prove the point,
it's political,
Carole,
yes,
that it has become political, and a success of a song is almost seen as a support for the country, and so that's why we're at...
What is the point of it as a music competition, if that is the case? We've had nil points for as many years I can remember. But who was that girl, May Muller, 3 years ago, who was representing Britain, said she hated Britain before she went in. So it is a farce as far as we're concerned.
Do you think that the BBC should boycott it if Israel is allowed to?
No, absolutely not. I think the whole competition should be scrapped, because I think it's rubbish. And I know you were saying it's like 160 million worldwide. 5 years ago, it was 200 million. So actually, its popularity is dwindling now.
OK. Well, let's find out what people are saying at home. Tom's in Manchester. Tom, what do you think the BBC should do? Should they boycott it if Israel is included in next year's competition?
Good morning.
Morning.
I mean, I'm not massive on Eurovision myself, but absolutely, I think we should be boycotting it. I mean, the complete contradiction of us not allowing Russia to take part, and then the atrocities that we see practically being live streamed on every single TV of what Israel are doing. And then we're happy to, parade them on a stage which is promoting the values and culture and freedom and things. I mean, they're not going to have a Palestine representative performing, are they, at Eurovision?
Tom, the Russian invasion was entirely different from what has happened
between. They're exactly the same thing. No,
they're not exactly. You don't know what's happened then if you think they're exactly the same thing. Ukraine was invaded.
Hang on, let Tom make the point, because you've made that point. So
well, he obviously didn't hear it.
Tom, Carole say that this is different. Ukraine started an invasion of a war. Israel and their actions in Gaza were a result of the October the 7th attack by Hamas. I mean, are we dancing on the head of a pin here? Go on, Tom.
Israel are using the rhetoric, we're allowed to defend ourselves. Defending yourself is by somebody who's currently fighting your back. There's not one Palestinian fighting them. They're being eradicated, basically.
Well, Tom, look, I'll leave that. I mean, there is also the huge issue that there are still hostages trapped, or held hostage, of course, in Gaza, and we've got to think of them as well. But I take your point, and thank you for kicking us off. Rob's in Cumbria. Rob, do you think the BBC should boycott the competition if Israel are included next year?
Yes, I think they should boycott it. Israel need to be made aware that the behaviour isn't acceptable. Now, the trouble didn't start on October the 7th, and I totally condemn Hamas and what happened on October the 7th. I condemn any kind of terrorism at all, but you cannot go around bombing your neighbours, little babies and children being starved, and it was caught up in this. It was innocent. Now, I'll give you an example. We've had our own troubles with terrorism with the IRA, and we didn't go and start bombing Northern Ireland indiscriminately.
Well, Rob, I want to move away from what's happening in Gaza, which is horrific to the people of Gaza and for the people of Israel as well, who are still waiting for those hostages to be returned. So I just want to focus on the Eurovision Song Contest. I mean, if it is something that is designed to bring people together, then is it better to include a country like Israel in order to show that actually talking and participating with other countries is better than actually isolating them and pushing them away? Is that
first thing I would say is let the UN in and independent journalists, and then we can talk.
OK, all right, Rob, I'll leave it there. Jane's in Wiltshire. Jane, welcome to the show. What do you think the BBC should do?
I think the BBC should boycott the Eurovision. I think it is a politicised event, whether we name it as such. And I think that we're just turning. We can't pretend that Israel's genocide in Gaza isn't happening. We can't just have jollies around it and pretend.
Carole?
Well, because none of the callers have talked about it being a music festival. They're talking in political terms, which is exactly why this competition should not exist anymore. Because you can't let people compete on the basis of where they come from, because then you're going to look at wars all over the world where they've been provoked by whatever means, and you're going to ban people for the way they're fighting.
I do agree with that. I think it should never have been political, but it is political now. We didn't let Russia in last year, so we have to run the same rules with Israel.
Why is it become so political? Is it because countries get to sort of pass judgment on another country?
Everything's political.
But the people making the judgments aren't qualified to make the judgments.
Hang on, are they voted for by the public?
Exactly, which is why it's political.
I'm talking about the competition itself, the way it exists and the rules that are around it. And countries are just making known their feelings about what they think about the Israel-Gaza situation. It's about music. It's supposed to be a celebration of cultures and music. This is not. This is saying, this is where I'm pinning my flag. To that mast, I'm pinning it there. That's what it's about. That's not what it should be about.
OK, well, I should say that Eurovision itself has been saying that we understand the concerns and deeply held views around ongoing conflict in the Middle East. We are still consulting with all EBU members. Broadcasters have until mid-December to confirm if they wish to take part. We would respect any decision broadcasters make. Well, we'll find out what the BBC will decide mid-December.
Does that sound like that they're not going to take any notice of the people who are saying they're going to boycott?
I think they're just saying we'll leave it up to broadcasters if they want to be part of the competition or not.
Which means, Go ahead.